In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to set up a full live streaming show in OBS. We're talking about all the scenes that you need, including overlays and audio and all the cameras that you're gonna need to be able to build a full show. Just to give you an idea, we're gonna do a welcome scene or a countdown timer scene. We're gonna do a main camera scene. We're gonna do a guest scene. So if you wanna be having some guests on your show time to time, we're gonna set up that scene as well. So we have an option to set up for 2 guests or 3 guests, of course, including you, the host. We're gonna be setting up a desktop share screen where if you wanna do, let's say, a reaction video where you're reacting to YouTube videos, you wanna show something on your screen and you wanna stay on the screen and show your camera on screen as well. We're gonna do that. We're gonna make a chat screen, which means you can show a full chat as people sending in message on your live stream and be able to actually have yourself on screen at the same time. I'm gonna show you how to set up a video playback scene if you wanna play back some videos during your stream. And we're gonna be setting up the ending soon screen as well. So that's gonna be the scene that you play at the end of your stream. I'm gonna show you how to add your microphone, all the cameras that you need, desktop audio, so people can hear when you play back some videos or playing some YouTube videos or any other video that you may actually share on your stream. And I'm gonna show you how to set up some background music as well if you need some music playing in the background. So I have to warn you, this is gonna be a long video. However, I promise you it's worth it, because after watching it, you're gonna be able to set up your own professional show and be able to go live on YouTube or Facebook or any other platform that you want to stream to. So let's not take much time, let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? My name is Sam. You're watching live production tips and tools helping you master live streaming. So just to give you an idea, guys, of what we're gonna be doing, these are some of the scenes that we're gonna be creating. Something like this that you're gonna show before you start your stream. Okay, countdown timer like this one. We have a single overlay kind of scene where you can actually have an overlay and you can have, you know, kind of yourself talking through. And we have also another scene here, which is we have 2 people actually talking, which is this could be you, the host of the show, and this could be your guest. And then we have another scene here where you have yourself maybe in the middle and you have 2 guests on your stream. And we also have a different layout that will look like this. And we also have a layout for 4 people. Again, we're probably gonna be doing 2 people on the screen, but the concept is the same if you want to have more than 1 guest on your show. And we have a screen share where actually you can be on screen and be sharing the other screen. As you can see, this is my second screen that I'm sharing. Let's say if I was doing a demo, maybe showing people how to live stream and everything. Again, this is how I record my videos, but as you can see, I can do some other good stuff on this screen. So we're gonna be setting up this scene as well. And also we're gonna be setting up a scene that looks like this. Here we're missing some chat, but again, where people can be sending in some messages and everything, so you can share that on your screen. And finally, we're gonna be I'm gonna be showing you how to set up this ending soon screen as well. This is gonna look like this. So obviously some other cool stuff that I'm gonna show you. I just wanted you guys to have an idea of what we're gonna be doing. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna be creating a new profile and we're gonna be streaming to YouTube for this particular video. However, you can use the same concept for streaming to Facebook. So let's call it, we're gonna go ahead and actually create this profile. We're gonna name it YouTube Stream. Again, I encourage you guys to use profiles, because profiles, you can actually create multiple shows. Let's say you have a show where you talk about something, a different topic, or you have a show where you're streaming maybe to one platform and you want to create a profile specifically for that. You can actually do that in OBS by using profiles and scene collections. Okay, again, OBS is gonna ask you if you want to optimize for streaming and recording is secondary. You can go ahead and actually choose that, but again, you don't have to do all this stuff here. You can just click cancel, because we're gonna be setting up everything. Okay, so once you're done creating the profile, if I go to profile, you can see I have multiple profiles. Okay, now we have this one that's actually checked, we just created, which is YouTube Stream. Now the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and go to scene collection. So scene collection is gonna be all the scenes that we're gonna be using to stream, and profile is mostly for all the settings you're gonna be using to be able to stream. You know, if you're streaming to YouTube, you have different settings compared to Facebook, or maybe the bitrate is gonna be different or the resolution is gonna be different. So all those things are going to be saved under profile. Okay, now scene collection is gonna be all the scenes that we need, including like these scenes that we have here. As you can see, if I go to scene collections, these are scenes that I use for overlay demos. It's a different scene collection. So for us, we're gonna create a new scene collection and we're gonna call it YouTube Stream Collection. So let's say YT Stream Collection. Again, you can call it whatever you want. It's up to you really. So as soon as I click to that collection or scene collection, as you can see, I get a blank OBS kinda, you know, everything is gone now. Why? It's because this is a different scene collection, so we're gonna be creating everything from scratch. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create our first scene. Before we go into settings or anything, the first thing we're gonna be creating is gonna be a welcome scene or a countdown timer. Okay, so now some people would prefer to just have something that says welcome to the stream, whatever. Other people will use a countdown timer. It doesn't matter, whatever you choose is gonna be the same concept. Okay, so what I need you to do, I need you to go ahead and actually go to Google, because we're gonna need some overlays and some assets, of course, to be able to stream. So you're gonna go to streamtools.com. okay, streamtools.com, and that's where you're gonna find some overlays I'm gonna be using today. Okay, again, you can go browse, either look for overlays that are actually static or animated overlays. Okay, so you also have some countdown timer, different countdown timers. You can see like this one right here. You can go ahead and actually check out a quick demo that shows you what it's gonna look like. All right, so as you can see, this is an example. This is another one that I kind of like. This is called In the Loop. Okay, it's a 5 minutes countdown timer. Again, I would say 5 minutes is really good. So this is kind of my favorite. I love this one. So again, if you go ahead and purchase it, it's only $15. You can go ahead and purchase it and use it forever. So just go ahead and purchase it. Once you buy it, it's gonna come in a folder that will look like this. Basically, it's gonna be a zipped folder. So what you need to do is you're gonna go ahead and actually right click and extract, and it's gonna give you a folder that you can actually access via OBS. Okay, so don't forget to right click and extract. Okay, so once you're done, once you open it, of course, we're gonna go ahead. It's gonna show up somewhere here. Right now, I have it already here, kind of open. All right, so it's gonna give you these two timers. One is gonna be with the music. Now if you have Epidemic Sound, if you subscribe to Epidemic Sound, you're gonna be able to use that music with the countdown timer. But if you have your own music, you can actually use the version without the music, and you're gonna be able to actually set it up with your own music. Now if you want to subscribe to Epidemic Sound, you want to make sure you actually check out the link below. I have a link down below. Epidemic Sound is actually the service that I use for all my streaming and creating content. So it gives me royalty-free music that I can use without having any copyright issues. So check out the link below if you're interested, and you're gonna be able to use exactly the same music that you have on this countdown timer. And at the same time, you're gonna be able to actually download a lot of music. They have a library of over 40,000 music and sound effects that you can use for your streams and your content. So check them out for sure if you're interested. Okay, so what we need now for the first scene, we're gonna go ahead and actually rename the very first scene that is actually there. So we're gonna call it intro. I like to call it intro, say countdown. Okay, and then under this scene, we're gonna go ahead and hit a plus sign, and then we're gonna go ahead and choose a media source. And then for this media source, we're gonna call it, let's say, 5 minutes countdown. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and click OK. And then we want to make sure local file is checked. Leave everything the way it is. We're gonna go ahead and actually hit browse, and we're gonna go ahead and look for the countdown timer that we just downloaded. Okay, so I'm just gonna go look for it on my computer. So we're gonna go ahead and choose In the Loop 5 minutes countdown timer. It's right there, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually open it and click OK. And as you can see, we have the countdown timer is actually on, and it's actually playing, no problem. As you can see, as you open it, it's gonna stop playing, but you actually, once you have your mouse on it, your cursor on it, you can actually control play it, stop it. You can, like, you know, make sure it's actually all the way blank. Okay, So have everything like this, no problem. Okay, so again, another thing that I want to make sure because I have this very cool plugin already installed, I'm just gonna go ahead and actually disable it so it's not distracting. Okay, there we go. So we should be good now. Okay, so as you can see, again, anytime you can actually decide to play it just like that, and it's gonna play and it's gonna count down from 5 to 0. Okay, another thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure you go to audio mixer here, and then you want to make sure you go to advanced. Just click on these 3 dots, go to advanced, and then go to audio monitoring. So you want to make sure you check monitor and output. Okay, under audio monitoring, this is for you to be able to hear the music. So when it's playing, yes, it's gonna go to the stream, but at the same time you can actually listen to it in your headphones so you can monitor, know what's going on. Because sometimes what you want to avoid is having the music playing and you don't even know that it's playing, and you start talking and people can't hear you, and because you don't know that the music is playing, you just gonna think that there's nothing playing, and then you start talking over it and it's gonna overpower you. So it's gonna create a disaster. So any audio source apart from your microphone, especially music, countdown timers, and background music, you want to make sure you check this option to be able to monitor it. Now this way I can actually hear what's going on. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and actually pause it, and the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and set up our second scene, which is gonna be our main camera. Okay, now for our main camera, we're gonna be using a little cool overlay again that you can get from Stream Tools. By the way, you can go to streamtools.com and buy, like, kind of purchase like a full pack. Now if you want a static overlay pack like this one, let's go to overlays, and then we're gonna go ahead and choose this one. Looks really good. Okay, this is one of my favorites here. It can give you all the scenes that you need. As you can see, it looks really good. You have a quick preview here as well, just to show you, to give you an idea. All right, so this is one example. Okay, I have another one that I actually like, which is that we're gonna be using. That one is animated. Again, it's gonna be, you're gonna choose either you want animated or not animated, but I'm gonna show you how to use both. Okay, so the second one, we're gonna go ahead and choose our main camera. So for this one, we're gonna go ahead and create that scene, and we're gonna call it main camera. Okay, and we're gonna hit OK. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and hit plus sign under this scene, go under sources, and the first thing, of course, we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in our overlay before we bring in a camera. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add a media source, and then we're gonna call it overlay main camera, and hit OK. And then I'm gonna look for it. Now for this time, I have again a pack that I have got from streamtools.com. Again, I'm gonna link it down below, guys. I'm gonna try to link everything that I'm using, but this is called the Beta Studio. I'm gonna choose one. Again, the pack you're gonna get is gonna include all this stuff. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose single overlay. Okay, go to single overlay, and I'm gonna choose this one right here. Again, because this is animated, you want to make sure you choose loop. Okay, I believe this is the version that I love the most. Okay, because again, you have multiple options, but as you can see, this one, it allows you to show the entire camera. In my opinion, the other one that I just showed you was a little kind of taking off some pixels, but you have the choice between this one or the other one. Okay, but as you can see, it's animated, but it's not too animated. It's kind of subtle, so I kind of love this one. Okay, again, I'm gonna have a link to this pack down below, and as you can see, it looks really good. Now again, remember, if you go to properties, make sure you hit this loop, because this is like a video kind of looping, so you want to make sure the animation keeps going. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add our camera. Okay, now for this one, I actually have a camera, which is my webcam right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign, and I'm gonna go to video capture device, and I'm gonna call it Tiny2. This is my webcam that's connected right now. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose Opus Tiny2 stream camera. Okay, and as you can see, it's showing up, no problem. And again, when you're talking, you always want to make sure you face the camera, so that's where it's gonna look good. Okay, and what we're gonna do, you want to make sure your overlay is actually on the top, and don't forget, go ahead and actually lock your camera. Okay, so always hit this lock so you don't move it accidentally. And this is what the actually image is gonna look like. So usually, again, because I'm using different camera to record this video, but as you can see, this is what it's gonna look like on the stream. Okay, what's going on, guys? My name is Sam. Okay, just real quick, if you want to use a different camera, so let's say you have a DSLR like the one that I'm using right now, I can go ahead, let's say I disable this one, and just to show you what it's gonna look like, because the DSLR is gonna give you a better image, blurry background and everything. So I can go ahead and add a camera here, a new scene. Okay, and I'm gonna call it, let's say, my DSLR. I'm gonna hit OK, and then for this time I'm gonna use Streamlabs visual webcam because I'm using it in Streamlabs to be able to record this video. Again, you want to make sure the overlay is actually on the top, and as you can see, this is like a kind of view of what it would look like if I was using a DSLR. Okay, as you can see, the overlay kind of matches the look of my studio, which is great, and the colors are matching. Okay, which is awesome. Okay, again, you can choose either overlay that kind of will match your style and everything, but this is what it will look like. And as you can see, super subtle. It's not too distracting or anything. Okay, you can also click on it and adjust it if you want to show more pixels, kind of crop it like this. Okay, something like this. You want to make sure it fits well in the frame. Okay, so the edges, you want to make sure they actually are behind the frame. Okay, something like this will still look good. All right, and you want to make sure you're well centered, and it will probably look like something like this, which is awesome. Okay, but again, for now, we're just gonna, I can actually hide this one, my DSLR, or if you want to delete it, you can simply hit delete. Okay, and then we're gonna leave the tiny, which is this camera right here. Again, when you're talking, make sure you look into the camera and just do your stuff. Okay, so the next thing, before we go any further for this scene, we want to make sure we add our microphone, because this is a scene. Usually you start with the intro, and then once you're done with the intro, you're gonna start talking to your people. So you want to go ahead and actually add your microphone for, you know, just for people to be able to hear you when you stream. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign. I'm gonna go to audio input capture, and I'm gonna call it main mic. Usually that's how I name my microphones, main mic, and I'm gonna hit OK. And then depending on the microphone that you have, right now I'm using this microphone. It's connected to an interface called the Rodecaster Duo. So the Rodecaster Duo is gonna show up in here. If you have a USB microphone, it's probably gonna have a different name. Okay, but as soon as it's connected to your computer, it's gonna show up here under device, and you want to make sure you choose the right microphone. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually choose Rodecaster Duo main, which should be this one. And as you can see, we have it showing up here, and as you can see, we have the audio coming in, no problem. You can see the signal under the mixer. Now for this one, you don't have to hear yourself because it's gonna create some echoes, right? You want to make sure you test it or use headphones like this. They can connect directly into the interface to be able to hear yourself. But other than that, I do not recommend, unless you just want to make sure it sounds good, but you want to make sure you turn it off, because if you don't, it's gonna be a little distracting, because there's a little delay usually when you try to monitor directly through OBS. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now we have our scene already kind of good, and it looks good, no problem. Now this overlay main camera audio is showing up. This is our overlay, but it's muted. You can either kind of check it, just check this speaker, just make sure it's muted but there's no audio to it, just to make sure it's not gonna distract you or anything. Okay, so the next scene now we have to actually create is gonna be our guest scene. Okay, again, for this one is gonna be having myself as a host or yourself as a host, and then having a guest on your show. Okay, this is probably not gonna be a scene that you're gonna be using every day. However, it doesn't hurt to have it in case they say one show it may be just you talking, and a different day it could be you and a guest, one or two guests. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to add one guest, but the same concept applies if you want to add multiple guests. And we have all the overlays ready for you. You can have them ready, so whenever you have a guest on the stream, you just have to set it up a little quick, and then you go live with your guest, no problem. So let's go ahead and we're gonna call this scene, let's say one guest, one host, which is gonna be you're gonna be the host. So we're gonna hit OK. So we're gonna go under sources, we're gonna hit the plus sign, and we're gonna go ahead and go to media source, and we're gonna bring in our overlay first. Okay, so we're gonna call it overlay one guest, one host. All right, and we're gonna hit OK. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and browse in our overlays. Okay, and then for this we're gonna use interview overlays. We're gonna go in that folder, and then we're gonna look for one that has 2 guests. Again, we have different styles. We have one with name tags, and we have other ones without the name tag. So we're gonna go ahead and actually use this one. Okay, does not use any kind of name tag. And you want to make sure always, because this is an animated overlay. If it was a static overlay, you don't have to loop it, but since this is animated, you want to make sure you actually choose loop so the animation keeps going. Okay, again, as you can see, this is just a subtle kind of overlay. And then what you need to do is we're gonna go ahead and actually make sure we lock it so we can now move it, because if you don't lock it, you may play with it and actually kind of move it accidentally. So you don't want to do that, so make sure it's locked. Okay, and then the next thing is we're gonna go ahead and add ourselves, which is myself, you know, because if you're running a show, you want to make sure you're there, the host. And then the second one is gonna be our guest. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a video capture device. Okay, we go to video capture device because we already have one. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and actually click to add existing. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and use a tiny because it's the same image. Okay, and then hit OK, the tiny 2. And what I'm gonna do is I want to make sure the overlay stays on the top, and then I can go ahead and actually choose a tiny 2, and we want to make sure we resize it and make sure it fits within the screen, just like this, the first screen. Okay, again, you can choose if you want to appear in this corner here or in this corner. It's up to you. And then what I'm gonna do is you can go ahead on your keyboard and hit Alt, and then you can move this just to crop the image to make sure it fits within the canvas, just like this, something like this. Always make sure it's actually centered and don't leave any black edges. Something like this, it should be good. Again, if you speak directly into looking into the camera, it should be like this. Hey, what's going on, my guest? Welcome to the show. It's gonna be like that. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and add our guest. Now, to be able to add a guest, usually you need to send them a link. All right, because your guest is not gonna be a local camera unless you're having a show like a podcast. If you're having a podcast, you can do exactly the same thing. If you guys are sitting in the same room, all you gotta do is you're gonna go ahead and actually do the same thing. Okay, but for this time, because this is not local, I'm assuming you're having a remote guest. Okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and actually go to a website called video.ninja. This is a free website, so it's called video.ninja. And then this is where we're gonna use a link to invite our guests. Okay, again, this is 100% free, so you don't have to pay anything. So you're gonna go ahead and create a room, and then room name, you can just call it my show, and then you can create a password. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have few options here. One says the guest can see the director but not other guest video. The director will be performing as well, appearing in a group scene. You can check this one. Preferred video codec, you can actually go ahead and choose H264. And everything else, you can go ahead and actually choose into the room control center in the director's role, join the room as a participant. So you want to make sure you actually join as a director. So once you're done, this is what you're gonna see. This is where your guests are going to appear. So what you need to do, usually, again, have another video detailing showing you how to use Video Ninja to be able to bring in a guest. I'm gonna leave it down below if you guys are interested. However, what you need to do just to bring in a guest, you're gonna go ahead and a link here that you're gonna send to a guest. So you see where it says invite a guest. Okay, this is what you need. So you're gonna go ahead and copy this link and you're gonna send it to your guest. In our case, we're gonna just send it to ourselves. We're gonna type in Google. So your guests, when they receive this link, they're gonna click to it and it's gonna show up like this. Okay, and then you're gonna ask them a password. So you give them the password that we created, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hit OK. And then they're gonna choose if they want to join with a camera or a screen share. It should be a camera, so they're gonna click on the camera. Okay, again, it's gonna ask you, Google Chrome is gonna ask you to allow, so allow, and then it's trying to detect all the cameras are connected. So In this case, I'm gonna use a different camera. So I have my Streamlabs virtual camera connected right now. Again, this is gonna be depend on the guest camera, okay? So it could be something different, okay? So they're gonna choose the camera, and then they're gonna choose the audio source. So depending on the microphone they have available, let me see what I have available. Digital audio. I can maybe use this one right here again. So we have audio, and then they choose a camera and everything looks good. What they're gonna do is they're gonna hit start. Okay, this is what the guest is going to see on their end. Now if we go back to our control room here, as you can see, we have the video coming from the guest and everything looks good. This is what you're gonna see on your end. You're gonna go ahead and copy the solo link. Okay, copy this link, and then we're gonna go back to OBS to the guest scene. And what we need to do, we're gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign, and then we're gonna hit browser. Okay, so we're gonna create a new browser, and then we're gonna call it guest 1, and then hit OK. And then you want to make sure we paste the link that we just got from Video Ninja. Remove the link that's there, and I'm gonna paste the new link from Video Ninja. And then you always want to make sure you actually do 1920, and then height, you want to make sure you choose 1080. And then control audio, make sure I check control audio via OBS, and then choose custom frame rate. And then frame rate, you can actually leave it at 30 frames per second, and then everything else looks good, and then hit OK. And as you can see, we have our signal coming from Video Ninja. All right, so this is our guest. This will be our guest. Now what you need to do is, I'm gonna go ahead and actually put the overlay on the top, because you want the guest to be under the overlay. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and click to it, and I'm going to resize it, make sure it actually fits, something like this. And then what I'm gonna do, I can actually hit Alt on my keyboard and make sure I actually crop it to fit the canvas, something like this. I can also move it like this, boom, right? Again, use Alt, and then make sure it's actually in the center of the canvas, and we are good to go. So now, as you can see, we have myself, which is my webcam, and then we have a guest, which could be anywhere in the world. And then we have the audio of the guest. Now, because you want to be able to hear the audio, you want to make sure you hit guest, okay? And then go to advanced, the audio from the guest. You want to make sure you hear it because you are talking. So, right, you need to make sure you can hear them. And then you want to make sure you hit audio. You go to audio monitoring, and then you go to monitor and output, and then hit close. So as you can see or hear, I can hear myself through the other angle, right? So that's you speaking to the guest, okay? It's a little weird because it's my own voice, but if it's a guest, it's gonna be you talking to them. They're gonna be able to hear you. And of course, you're hearing them and talking to them. All right. So I'm just gonna mute it for now, because I don't want it to be distracting me. And then another thing you do, just to make sure the guest can hear you, you want to make sure you go to enable director's mic. You want to make sure you go to settings, and then you go to video source. And usually what you would do, you would enable OBS virtual camera. And then what you would do is you would go ahead and audio source, you would choose your main microphone. In my case, it would be the Rodecaster Duo main. Okay. Again, I'm hearing myself, which is weird, but you would enable that microphone so the guest can hear you speaking, but also can see what's going on, what's happening on the show. So you want to make sure you go to OBS and then hit start virtual camera. And then if I go back to Video Ninja, you can see that OBS virtual camera should be on, and that's what the guest is going to be able to see, right? So this is it. You guys can see it, okay? So this is what the guest actually is seeing on their end. So if I go here, this is what the guest sees, all right? So basically, they're seeing themselves, which is this camera right here, and they're seeing what's happening on OBS. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, I have a video down below showing you step by step how to set it up to make sure it's good. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop it because it's gonna get in too much on my computer. So right now we have our intro, we have our main camera here, and then we have our camera with the guest, okay? And the next thing, we're gonna go ahead and actually, again, if you wanna do 3 guests, you just want to do the same process. You're gonna use a different overlays. All the overlays are available depending on the pack that you have, but you should be able to have 3 guests, 4 guests, again depending on which one that you want, and you should just follow the same process, and the overlay is gonna give you the ability to add, you know, not unlimited, but up to probably 4, 5, 6 cameras. I'm assuming you're probably not gonna have more than 2 guests on your stream, all right, at a time. So that's that. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and set up a desktop screen share kind of scene. So we're gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign and name it desktop share, and then I'm gonna hit OK. And then the first thing, we're gonna go ahead and actually bring in our overlay. So it's gonna be through a media source, and then I'm gonna call it desktop share overlay. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I check loop because this is an animated overlay, and I'm gonna go use again the Beta Studio overlay. Okay, animated overlay. And for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and go to desktop screens. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and check the version 1, and this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, so basically this is the corner. Again, you want to make sure you lock it. We have our screen, it's gonna be sharing here, and we have, let's say you're doing tutorial or you kind of doing a reaction video and stuff like that. So what you need to do is, the first thing, we need to add our own camera, which is gonna hit the plus sign, and then we're gonna go ahead and add a video capture device, and then we're gonna use existing, and then we're gonna use the Tiny 2, which is our webcam. It's already there, you don't have to add a new one. And then what we're gonna do, we wanna make sure it's always on the top, the overlay is always on the top. And then for this time, we wanna make sure we make it really small, and we want to make sure it actually does fit in this window right here. So something like this should do. All right, something like this. So once we're happy, you can go ahead and actually hit Alt on your screen, and then make sure you crop it so it fits in the canvas, no problem. So something like this is perfect. And then what we need to do is we're gonna go ahead and actually lock it, just to make sure you don't move it by accident. All right, just hit this lock thing, and then you want to make sure you hit the plus sign. We're gonna go ahead and add our screen because this is a screen share. And again, you can capture a window, a specific window, but for this time, it's just gonna be capturing an entire screen. So I do recommend to use an entire screen option if you have 2 screens. Like right now I have multiple screens, so I can have one screen where I'm actually running my stream, and I can have another one that I can use to kind of do tutorials or playback videos, do other stuff that I want to do. All right, now if you have only one screen, I would actually recommend you do a window capture. Okay, so if you just have only one screen. Now since I have multiple screens, I'm gonna go ahead and actually choose a display capture. All right, so basically it's gonna show my entire screen. Now for this one, I'm gonna say display. I can just leave it, call it display capture, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And then as you can see, it's gonna ask me which screen that I want to show. Again, you can capture method, just leave it automatic. And as you can see, I have multiple screens here. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one right here, which is the one that's actually running Streamlabs right now. And you can choose if you wanna capture cursor or no cursor, and force SDR. Again, you don't have to choose to force SDR. You can just leave it the way it is. Now, if you are doing tutorials when you want people to see the cursor, of course, you want to make sure you hit capture cursor. If you don't want to show it, you can uncheck this option. For me, most of the time, I'm just doing tutorials, so I'm actually okay to show my cursor. Now, the next thing is you want to make sure it's actually under. Okay, so for this, you want to make sure it's actually under the overlay. Okay, the overlay has to always be on the top. And then what we're gonna do is we want to resize it, okay, just to make sure it fits the canvas, just something like this. Okay, again, no black edges, because if you show some black edges, it's just gonna be amateur, not professional. So you want to make sure it kind of fits well, something like this. You know, something like this looks almost perfect. Also make sure you're showing all the info. So sometimes it may not be that easy, but you can also use like arrows on your keyboard to kind of move it frame by frame. You know, something like this looks good. Just you want to make sure you don't hide any important information, especially if you're doing like tutorials and stuff like that. But this one looks fairly good. And what I'm gonna do is, let's say if I wanna browse. Okay, again, once you're done, you want to make sure you lock it so you don't move it by accident. Again, so on that screen, let's say if I was doing some tutorials and stuff like that, I can go ahead and go, let's say I have my OBS running on this screen. Okay, on the other screen, as you can see, I can go there, I can browse. Let's say I go to my website, I have live production tips and tools, and I'm doing some demo, showing people things, right? So I can be talking and sharing some information on screen. And of course, I can go over to something like YouTube and I can play back a video. So they say I go to my channel, something like this. I can actually play maybe, let's say, my latest video. All right, something like this. Again, there's an ad that's just going to play. So like if you're doing a reaction video, you can do that. Okay, so again, it's kind of muted, so I don't want it to show it, right? You can go full screen. So if I go full screen, you can see that it's gonna show full screen. Whatever I'm doing on this screen really is gonna show up. Now, if you kind of playing back some videos and stuff like that, you want to make sure people can actually hear your audio. Okay, so this is important. For every scene that you set up, you want to make sure people have audio. And as you can see on our guest scene, we forgot to add our own microphone. So what you need to do is every scene that you do, you want to make sure you have a microphone. Countdown timer, we don't need a microphone. Main camera, we have a microphone, main mic. Guest and host, we want to make sure we add. I like to add it manually. So you want to make sure you go ahead and add audio input capture and then add the main mic. Okay, add existing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose main mic and then make sure it's always there. You want to make sure that people, if you're streaming, people can hear me and then they can hear the guest. All right, we have the guest mic. Again, I muted it earlier because I didn't want it to be distracting, but you want to make sure it's unmuted. All right, and then for desktop share, same thing. All right, desktop share, we want to make sure we add my mic, which is me hosting. So we're going to go to the plus sign. We're going to go to audio input capture, and then we're going to go to existing main mic, hit OK. So now we have people can hear me. We also want to make sure we hit the plus sign for people to be able to hear your audio, because there's no way to add your desktop audio here. Okay, if you know you're going to be using one application, you can use application audio capture. However, since this is not going to be probably going to be showing multiple things, you can go to settings here, and then you can go to audio, and then you can go to where it says desktop audio, and then you want to make sure you put it to default. Okay, so go to default, make sure everything else is disabled, hit apply and hit OK. So now this case, okay, if I play something, so let's say if I played this video,
so let's not take much time, let's get right into
desktop audio is actually going to show up.
What's
here,
going on, guys?
right?
My name is Sam. You're watching.
So this is important because if you're playing back a video, you want people to be able to hear you, no problem. Okay, now you can go to other scenes, because once you enable it, it's gonna be everywhere. Okay, now whenever they say you don't want it to be bothering you on other scenes, you can actually go ahead and disable it. Countdown timer, you can go ahead and disable it here. Okay, and desktop share, again, whenever you play back this scene, you want to make sure desktop audio is actually on. Okay, that's very important. Okay, also another thing you can do, you can actually, if you want to be able to monitor it, again, for me, because I'm using the Rodecaster interface, I'm actually able to monitor it, no problem. Okay, however, in your case, if you were not able to monitor, you can actually go ahead and check this option here. But for now, again, for most of you guys, if you're using interfaces or you have headphones on, you probably don't need to monitor it through OBS. Okay, so again, on other scenes, you can make sure you kind of enable it, but whenever you're getting ready to share something, you can actually make sure it's desktop audio is actually enabled, and you're gonna be able to share that audio on the stream. Okay, so now this looks good. So far we have the intro, we have the main camera, we have the guest, and then we have the desktop share already set up for us. All right, next up, we're gonna go to the chat screen kinda scene. All right, so for this one, we're gonna be using another plugin, again from Video Ninja. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign, and then for this, again, we can call it chat, or some people actually call it chat screen. Okay, so this is when you want to show the chat, and of course you want to be able to be on the screen at the same time, so you can show people on the stream how many, like, you know, being displayed on the screen, something like that. A lot of people like that. All right. So the first thing, we're gonna go ahead and actually bring in our overlay using the media source, and we're gonna call it chat screen overlay. You can call it that way. You want to make sure we hit OK, and then again, this is animated, so want to make sure we loop it, and then we're gonna go to browse. Now for this one, I'm gonna go into my folder and I'm gonna look for chat overlays, and I'm gonna bring in this one right here, and I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna hit OK again. As you can see, we have a canvas that looks really good, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit the plus sign, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a camera. So it's gonna be a video capture device, and it's gonna be our Tiny 2 camera. So I'm gonna add existing, and I'm gonna hit OK. For this time, of course, I'm gonna make sure the overlay is on the top and it's locked, and then my camera, I'm gonna resize it something like this, make sure it's actually in the center, right? Something like this. And then I'm gonna make sure it's cropped. Again, hit Alt and crop it, something like this. Looks really good if I'm looking that way. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the chat here. Now, to be able to add the chat, I want you to go to, again, I'm gonna leave a link down below, but for this time we need to use the chat tool called, let me actually show it to you guys. I have it already installed. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, it's called Social Stream Ninja. Okay, I'm gonna leave a link down below. I also have a video down below showing you how to install it. Okay, so once you have it installed, it's gonna show up right here. Okay, and of course I'm gonna show you how to set it up. Okay, basically, let's go ahead and actually type Social Stream Ninja in Google, and the first one that shows up here should be this link. Okay, again, I'm gonna leave a link down below where you can actually, you know, kind of click to it, and it's gonna take you to the page. You can easily click to it, and what you need to do is you need to go to where it says under code, and then go to download. Okay, download zip. Okay, again, I'm gonna leave a link down below for you, so you don't need to suffer, okay, going through, you know, all this. Okay, you're just gonna click to that link and it's gonna take you there. So once you have it installed, what you need to do is you can go to your download folder. You're gonna find a zipped folder. Make sure you click to it and then unzip it, extract all. Okay, just hit extract all. Okay, it's going to extract. Okay, so once you have the folder that's actually extracted, what you need to do is you're gonna go to OBS. Okay, sorry, before you go to OBS, you're gonna open Chrome browser. Okay, and again, have mine already installed, but as you can see, it's kind of overdue for updating. Okay, so what you need to do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually, you need to go here, go to extensions. Okay, and then go to manage extensions, and then you want to make sure this developer mode is actually toggled. The first time it's gonna look like this, so you want to make sure you toggle developer mode. And as you can see, I have mine here. It needs to be updated, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually remove it. And what I'm gonna do for you, again, because it's gonna be the first time, you're gonna go ahead and hit load unpacked. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and choose stream, the one we just downloaded. Choose that folder, hit select folder. The first time it's gonna give you an error message. Does this all the time. Just hit retry or just cancel, and then do it again. Choose a folder. Now it should show up, no problem. So as you can see, it's gonna show up like this. Now if you can actually go ahead and actually close, no problem. And then if you go here on this little extension icon, you can click on it and it's gonna show up here. It's called Social Stream Ninja, and then you can actually click this pin little icon just to be able to pin it, and it's gonna stay here all the time. So you click to it and you want to make sure you enable. So make sure it's actually enabled. Once it's enabled, it's gonna give you two links. The first one is the stream chat dockable. This is the link that we need, but also it's gonna give you another one if you want to feature. You see how people show their chat on screen? You can actually use this one as well to be able to show some messages. Okay, so the first thing, we're gonna go ahead and actually copy this link and then just select it. It says stream chat dockable, and we're gonna go back to OBS, and then we're gonna go to our docs, and then we're gonna go again. I already have it, but you can go ahead and hit custom browser docs. Okay, and then as you can see, you can actually create a new one or whatever you want, but I already have it. It's called Chat Ninja. And then what I'm gonna do is, again, let me just delete it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and recreate it. So call it chat, say ninja. And then what you're gonna do is the link that we just copied, I'm gonna hit paste, okay, and then hit apply, okay, and then hit close. So as you can see, now we have a dock here, and you can dock it anywhere you want. So you can just move it to, let me just go ahead, go to docks. If you can't dock it, it's because your docks are locked. So I want to make sure you unlock it, and then go to put it anywhere you want. So as you can see, mine is just gonna go on the top here, which is okay. I don't mind having it there, but again, you can remove it, and let's say you want to have it somewhere here. There's no space. Yeah, you can have it maybe somewhere here, right? So the chat is coming through here, okay? But again, that's not what we need for now, okay? Because we need the chat to be showing up. So the first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and actually go to YouTube, because we need some messages coming in. Right now I'm not live, so I'm gonna look for someone who's live and who has many messages coming in. This is AJ, the CEO, is live right now. Got 5. Let's go to this guy. He's live, okay? And let's see how much, if he has some chat going on. Well, it looks like there's no chat. Okay, so this guy has no chat. Let's go to this guy. Okay, so AJ, the CEO, got chat. So let's say this was you who's live. What you would do is you can go ahead and go to these dots here, 3 dots, and then hit pop out chat. Okay, this is what you need. Okay, so once you have pop out chat, okay, the extension we just installed is gonna be able to bring those chat in. So if I say hello, again, I'm just gonna say hello, and all the messages are going to be able to show up. They say if I go to OBS, as you can see, the message that I just sent is actually here in OBS. Okay, so now all the messages are going to be sent are going to be showing up, not just my message, all the chat, all the messages that will actually be sent through. Thanks AJ for everything. Again, I don't want to spam his chat for us. Okay, hopefully more people will be sending in some messages. Okay, but for now we have this, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit the same chat screen. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit browser, right? So I'm gonna add a browser source, and then I'm gonna call it live chat, and I'm gonna hit OK. And then for this one, actually, we can make it, let's say 1920, sorry, 1080. I'm gonna make it vertical by 1920, something like that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, I forgot, I just can go to properties. I forgot to paste the link. So the same link we used to create the chat doc is this link that we're gonna paste in here. Okay, same link that we used to create the doc. Okay, so it's gonna be in here, and then hit OK. And right now, if I do this, it should start showing the chat that is actually coming. So as you can see, this is what it looks like, and I can put it here. So now, always you want to make sure you put it under the overlay, and you want to make sure, let's say before we lock it, let me just put it like this. Okay, and then we can lock it. So now, as you can see, people are sending in chat. All the messages are actually going to populate here. Okay, another cool thing that you can do, if you want, you can add another function, which is to be able to show the chat on your stream. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and actually do that too, if you want to highlight every single message on your stream. Okay, so if I go back to our extension again, you can click on it here, and then go under featured chat overlay. So if I copy this link right here, okay, go back to OBS, and what we're gonna do is I can go ahead and add a new browser doc, and I'm just gonna call it live chat HL or highlight. I'm gonna hit OK, and then for this one, I'm gonna go to URL, and I'm gonna go ahead and paste the new link that I just got. And then width, I can actually call it 1920, so it can take the entire screen. And the height, I can actually make it something like 400. Okay, and then click OK, right? So as you can see, it's gonna show up here, but I can move it down here. something like this. And you can actually resize it the way you want, depending on the scene. So if I want to have messages showing up, so let's say now I have it, I can lock it. Now, if I can click to any message right here. So if I click to this message, as you can see, if it's a question, somebody just asked a question, I can actually have it on my stream, no problem. And as you can see, it's gonna show up and I'm gonna say, hey, do you think that Prism Live Studio is going to overtake OBS as a Premiere Studio software? You see, that's just an example. I can also highlight another chat if I want. There's a little animation. Also, like the main chat is showing on the stream, no problem. I can highlight another chat message, you know, just like that, as I answer questions on my live stream. Now, this chat is also useful. I can actually go ahead and actually have it on my main camera, because most of the time when we are actually, you know, live, probably the time we're answering questions, you want to be on the screen just by yourself or with the guest. So what we can do is I can go to here on the main camera, hit the plus sign, and then add the browser source, and then add existing, and then I can go to live chat HL, and then boom, it's gonna show up here, and then I can put it somewhere here, just resize it, something like this, all right? And then boom. So anytime I highlight, they say I want to answer questions, I can also go ahead and actually lock it. So anytime I want to answer a question, I can just click on it, boom, right? And it's gonna show up, no problem. This is cool, right? I can also, there's so many ways you can even like chat through this dock as well. So again, this is gonna be for another video. I just wanted to show you guys, okay? So once you're done, you just click to it and it's gonna disappear if you don't want to show the chat anymore, okay? So again, I can just go ahead and copy it and then go to the main, like with the guest. So they say I want to answer the questions with the guest. So I can right click and then paste, okay? Paste reference, whatever. And then as you can see, it's going to show up here. So whenever, again, I can move it here, something like this. So whenever I want to answer a question, maybe with the guest, I can actually click to it. Yeah, so as you can see, I can show up this. I can, you know, if I want to answer a question with my guest on screen, I can have it on any scene really that I want. All I gotta do is just copy and paste, which is awesome, right? So this is my message that I just put it there. I say hello, you know, any message that I want to show on the screen, again, I can have it there. And once I'm done, I can just hide it. So you can copy and paste it to anywhere that you want. Again, I can go to my main mic again, copy it, and then go to chat, because I want to make sure I have my main mic everywhere. So I'm just gonna hit paste with the reference, and my main mic is gonna be there, okay? So everywhere, every scene, you want to make sure your microphone is there. And again, I would recommend you test everything, okay, before you go live, just to make sure everything is good. So the next scene is gonna be a video playback scene. So this is gonna be, let's say if you have a commercial video you want to play during your stream, or you have a YouTube video that you want to play, or you have any other video that is actually hosted locally on your computer. If you want to play a YouTube video, like a reaction video, you can use the desktop share, which is this one right here. So you can just go to YouTube and play any video that you want, okay? And it's gonna show up, no problem. You can react to it, no problem, okay? But if you want to play a local media, a local video, this is what we're gonna be doing. So what you need to do is gonna be, we're gonna go ahead and actually add a new scene, and we're gonna call it media playback, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. Now for the media playback, we really don't have to overlay. In my opinion, you want people to see all the pixels, the video, a clean feed of the video, no overlays or anything, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit plus sign, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose media source, okay? So we're gonna be using a media source. For this one, let's call it commercial. Let's assume it's commercial. It's a commercial video, or it's a promo video for your show, whatever you're gonna be playing back. You don't want it to be looping, okay? You wanna just to end, and then you want to actually go ahead and continue. And now for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and look for a video, okay, that I can actually, any random video. So let me actually choose this video right here. It's supposed to come out at some point. And then yeah, choose an MP4 video or something. Hit OK. So as soon as you add it, it's gonna start playing, okay? again, as you can see, once you have it, you can actually control it, no problem. Okay, but again, so as soon as you add it, it's gonna start playing. And as you can see, you have the audio. Most of the time when it's playing, you don't need on your microphone to be added. So because you want the video to play, and when it's done, you're gonna start talking. Unless you wanna be talking over it, in my opinion, you probably don't wanna be doing that. Okay, so what you need to do always, you wanna go to advanced and then go to audio monitoring, and then you wanna make sure you add monitor and output and hit OK. And boom. So what you need to do, the reason why you're doing that is because you want to be able to hear it when it's playing, and you can follow along as it actually plays during your show. All right, so that's it. This one is super simple. That's how it's done. So the next scene that we're gonna be doing is gonna be our ending soon scene. Okay, again, this is the same concept as the intro scene. This is gonna be the outro. I'll call it the outro. Most of the time is a scene that you're going to play at the end of your live stream once you're done talking. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click that scene, and what we need to do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a media source, and then for this one I'm gonna call it ending soon. Okay, again, depending on the overlay pack that you get, you're gonna be able to go to your overlay pack, and I believe I have one here that is a little different from the one that we were just using. This one is called, I believe, in the loop. Okay, so again, make sure you choose the right overlay that you like, and most of it, if you go to streamtools.com, you're gonna be able to find one that includes the stream. It will be not the stream will be right back, but the stream ending soon. Okay, so you want to make sure you choose that one, and then you want to make sure you choose a loop, okay, because you want it, sometimes it's not long enough, so you can actually have a loop. And then once you're done, you want to make sure you hit OK, and as you can see, it's gonna start playing, no problem. Now for this one, you probably need to add some music, and I'm gonna show you actually how to add some music. Now if you wanted something like be right back, so you want to take a break, you can actually use the same overlay pack and actually add that scene. Is gonna be the same process as the outro, is just the overlay kind of video. The overlay loop is gonna be a little different, okay, which would be, let's actually go ahead and do it before we do the ending soon. So you want to make sure you hit the plus sign, and then let's go to call it be right back. Okay, and then hit OK, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign and add the media source, and I'm gonna call it BRB, and then hit OK, and then make sure it loops, and then hit browse, and then I have be right back overlay kind of, you know, media already from streamtools.com. I'm gonna hit OK, and as you can see, you want to make sure again loop is checked, hit OK, and as you can see, we have our be right back scene available. You want to make sure you arrange your scenes just to make sure they are not, you know, that they are in order that you're gonna be using them, right? So like the outro should be the last one because that's the end of your stream. Okay, so as you can see, it says the stream will be right back. This is probably when you want to take a break, you want to go to washroom, and you want people to kind of, you know that the stream is not ending. You're just taking a quick 2 minutes or a quick 30 seconds. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, because these two scenes, be right back and outro, don't come with music, you want to make sure you add some music as well. You don't need to add the microphone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go to be right back. Under be right back, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a media source, and then I'm gonna call it BRB music. All right, and I'm gonna hit OK, and then for this one you want it to loop, so you want to check the loop. And I'm gonna hit browse. Now I have some background music that I use from Epidemic Sound, link down below. I'm gonna go to music, Epidemic Sound, and I'm gonna choose any music track here, and I'm gonna hit OK, and right now as be right back video loop plays, I have the music playing, and I can go to these 3 dots, hit advanced. Okay, so it was BRB. This is the BRB scene. This is a desktop audio, so you want to make sure you get the BRB music. So as you can hear, I can hear the music, no problem. Okay, I can even control it and everything on the good stuff. So for outro, you want to make sure you do the same thing. Go to media source, and then we can actually use the same music we just added for the be right back. Okay, I can just go to add existing. If you want to add a different music, you can create new, rename it, and add, you know, a different soundtrack. Okay, but for now I can just use BRB music, the same song that I'm using on BRB, and then boom, so it can play on my ending soon scene. So far everything looks good actually, and I am super happy about everything that we just created. If I do a quick recap, we have countdown timer for 5 minutes before the show starts. We have our main camera, you talking on the screen, no problem. And then we have our, you know, our mic is there, our audio. We have our guest and host, as you can see, it's all set and looks really good. We have our desktop share scene, and as you can see, you know, I can talk and then be sharing or doing a tutorial on the screen. And we have our chat screen, which is me and the chat on the screen appearing on screen. Okay, and that includes me showing some messages on the screen as well, which is awesome. We have our media kind of playback, playing back a video, and we have our be right back, you know, be right back scene right here. And we have our outro kind of scene, which is the ending scene. Now the only thing left that I'm gonna show you guys, which is like a bonus, is to be able to add our background music on our main scene. So when you're talking, you can have a little subtle background music playing. This is optional, but this is like a icing on the top of the cake, right? Just to make sure you kind of sound and look professional, right? So what we can do, we can go here on the main scene, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a new media source, and then I can call it background music, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. And then what I need to do, you want to make sure it always loops. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose some music from Epidemic Sound, again link down below, and I'm gonna make sure I hit OK. And right now it's here, and as you can see it's playing, but because I can't hear it in my headphones, I want to make sure I actually go ahead and go click to advanced properties under audio mixer and look for audio background music, which should be here, and choose monitor and out. So as you can see now it's there, and what I need to do is I need to lower the volume, so because you don't want it to be distracting. So I want to make sure I put it around -45, right? Again, depending on the music, you don't want it to be overpowering your voice. You don't want it to be distracting, but this sounds really good, okay? It's not too much, and people can still hear it on the stream. And again, whenever you want, you can actually stop it if it's too distracting. So you want to make sure you kind of choose the right track. Again, I believe between -50 and -45 is actually the right spot. And right now we have it. It sounds really good. Okay, so before we end the video, so far I hope you have learned a lot, guys. Again, this is like a crash course for OBS. You have the entire show actually made for you. But before we end, there's one little thing that I wanted to add, which is gonna be adding a second camera or a second angle. So let's say you're a content creator where you actually showcasing, maybe at some point you want to show a top-down shot or a second shot, or you want to show like a split kind of camera, one camera here and another camera here. Okay, so maybe something that will actually look like this one. All right, so where you have yourself talking like this, but instead of showing your screen, you're showing actually a second camera or second angle, right? An angle like this one right here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is what we can do, we can actually duplicate this desktop share, all right, and we can build from it, or we can actually create a new scene. Okay, so we can create a new scene and call it, let's call it top down. Okay, and then again, you can to show different camera angles, you can use it to show a top down shot like what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna be using an overlay. Okay, and I like to put it actually under the main camera. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually bring in the same overlay that we used. Okay, so it's gonna be a media source, And for this one, I'm gonna use an existing one, which is desktop share overlay. Okay, this should do the job. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna go ahead and actually lock it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the plus sign and I'm gonna bring in my camera first. So I can go here and use video capture, a device, and then hit add existing and hit the tiny 2, which is my main camera. Again, I'm gonna resize it and then make sure the desktop share overlay is actually on the top. And then I can choose this one and then make sure it fits well. Again, I showed you how to do this. All right, should be easy by now. Always make sure before you crop, make sure you hit the Alt, and then I'm gonna crop it like this. All right, and then once it's cropped, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna bring in my top-down shot. Now for my top-down shot, it's gonna be another camera. Should be another camera connected to your computer, maybe using a capture card. So I'm gonna go hit the plus sign and I'm gonna add a video capture device. And then for this one, it's gonna be a new one. So I'm gonna call it top down. Okay, and I'm gonna hit OK. And then for this one, I'm gonna be using Streamlabs. Again, your camera is gonna show up here, so I have different inputs, but the one that I'm using is called Streamlabs Desktop Virtual Webcam. Okay, but I'm gonna switch to this angle, right? Because this is the angle that I'm gonna be using. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK. Okay, and then for this one, you can go ahead and choose, go to the main. Always you want to make sure you have a microphone, so copy the microphone and then go to top down so you can bring in your microphone. So when you're showing this angle, people can see you. And you want to make sure the overlay is always on the top, so you want to put the overlay on the top. And then we're gonna go to the top down camera and then we're gonna actually resize it, so make sure it fits in the frame just like so. Something like this looks good. Again, you can hit Alt and just frame it a little, crop it a little bit, and you want to make sure the camera is a little on the top of it, just to make sure the edges are sharp and clean. And as you can see now, we are ready. So if I'm doing some product demo, let's say I'm demoing something, so I want to make sure the camera is in focus. So if I'm demoing something, it could be something like this. Hey guys, this is my new, iPhone stand. This is how it works. If I want to show off my iPhone case, this is what it looks like. Again, you want to make sure your camera is in focus. So as you can see, the camera is in focus and everything, so you can have this scene kind of ready for you. So now everything is like, wow, I'm ready to actually run my show, no problem. Okay, so now everything looks good, guys. I have shown you everything that you need to actually set up a professional show, but the next step is gonna be to be able to go live to YouTube. Okay, and what you need to do, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the basic settings that you need to do to be able to go live to YouTube. But you can use the same setup that we have here and actually use it and be able to go live to any platform. It could be Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. Okay, as long as you have all the scenes kind of ready for you to actually go. So again, for you to be able to go live to YouTube, you want to make sure you check your settings, make sure they look good. So we're gonna go to settings, and then the first thing we're gonna go to stream, and then go to service. You want to make sure you check YouTube RTMPS, and we're gonna make sure we connect your YouTube account to OBS. We're gonna do that in a minute. Also, another thing that you need to do is we're gonna go to output, and then for video bitrate, again, output mode, you want to make sure you choose advanced. Okay, and then for streaming, you want to go under streaming and then go to video encoder. You want to make sure you choose NVIDIA. Again, if you have a dedicated graphic card, you want to make sure you choose that as an encoder. So mine is NVIDIA NVENC H264. If you don't have one, if you don't have a dedicated graphics card, you can use X264. Okay, but if you have it, it's gonna show up here. Okay, rescale output, you can actually disable it. And then for rate control, you want to keep it at CBR. For bit rate, you want to make sure you actually choose anywhere between 6,000 to 10,000 depending on your internet speed, your upload internet speed. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to test your internet speed. Just you need to go to Google and then type in internet speed test. The first one by Google, just choose that one. Now if what you're looking at is your upload speed. So if your upload speed is anywhere, say above 20 megabits per second, you are free to use 10 megabits per second, okay, for your bitrate. So as you can see, I have a lot. This is my upload speed, this is my download speed. So this is the most important one. So if I have, they say now I have 900 megabits per second, I'm really good. I can use, 10, even more than 10, but YouTube is gonna cap you at 10 megabits per second is what they recommend if you stream 30 frames per second. You want to make sure you choose the bit rate at 10,000, okay, kbps, okay, if your internet speed is above 20 megabits per second. All right, now if it's below 20, the rule is really to have use at least half of what's available. So let's say if you have 16, you can use up to 8. If you have 10, you can use up to 5. But I recommend if you have to get the best looking image for YouTube live stream, you want to kind of use at least 6 megabits per second. So which is 6,000. Okay. And then for keyframe interval, YouTube recommends 2 seconds. Everything else you can really leave it the way it is. Okay. You don't have to play with it that much, and hit apply. And then you want to make sure you go to video, and then base canvas resolution is gonna be the canvas of your screen, so your monitor. So if your monitor is kind of like the resolution, so if your resolution is 1080p, your monitor, you want to make sure you use 1920 by 1080. If your monitor is actually something like 4K, you want to make sure you use a 4K resolution in here. But the output resolution or scaled resolution, this is what the people are going to see on your stream. So for us, we're streaming in 1080. You want to make sure you choose 1920 by 1080, okay? And then common FPS value, if you streaming a talking head kind of looking stream like what you're watching right now, you want to make sure you choose 30 frames per second. If you streaming a game play or sports, you want to make sure you actually choose 60 or 60 frames per second. Everything, make sure you hit apply, and so far everything looks good. And for audio, YouTube recommends 44.1, but OBS is gonna ask me to restart, so don't want to restart, so I want to keep it the way it is. 48 does still work, but if you have time to restart OBS, you can actually go ahead and use 44.1 kilohertz. Okay, that's it. Once you're done, hit apply, and before you hit OK, so you want to make sure you actually connect your YouTube channel to OBS so you can actually go live. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna go here where it says connect. So under stream, again, you make sure you are under service, YouTube RTMPS, and then server, you want to make sure it's actually on primary YouTube ingest server. And then once you have that, all you gotta do is you want to go ahead and you click connect your account. Okay, and what's gonna happen, OBS is going to ask you to connect to the Gmail account associated to your YouTube channel. So what you need to do is to really follow instructions and connect to your YouTube channel. So just follow instructions, everything, just hit continue, just keep clicking continue, and make sure you hit allow. And once you're done, OBS is going to show you this message that says authorization completed successfully, and now you can close this page. So what you gotta do, just go ahead and close that page. And if you go to OBS, as you can see, your channel is gonna be connected. As you can see, I'm connected at production tips and tools, and then make sure you hit apply. As soon as you hit apply, you're gonna get some docs. Okay, we have one doc, it's gonna be your chat doc, so basically a YouTube chat. Since we have another doc that's showing our chat, we don't really need it. You can actually go ahead and delete it. Just hit OK. You have another one. This is called YouTube Live Control Panel. So basically, this is gonna allow you to see the health of your stream while you actually live. Again, this is optional. If you want to do it, you can actually go ahead and log in using the same Gmail account that's connected to your YouTube account, okay, or to your YouTube channel, and you're gonna see the health of your stream here. But again, this is optional, so you don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, if you feel like it's just overwhelming, you can also go here under docs and you can actually disable it, and it's actually going to disappear, because at the end of the day, you don't want too much happening in OBS while you actually live. Okay, so once you're done, now everything is connected. What you can do is you can actually go ahead and click manage broadcast, and we're gonna start actually create a live stream on YouTube. And for now, we're gonna go ahead and hit create new broadcast, and then we're gonna name it title. So again, we can call it my broadcast or testing. Now for this time, if you actually live streaming for real, you're gonna give it a real name, and then we're gonna description, I'm just gonna call it test, but again, you can name it whatever you want. want, depending on what you're trying to stream. For now, privacy, you want to make sure you actually set it to public. Now, since I'm just recording a video, I'm just gonna leave it unlisted because I don't want people to see it. Category, you want to make sure you choose what applies to what you're streaming. So myself, I'm probably gonna be doing something that has to do with people in blogs. Again, you can go ahead and choose whatever applies to your stream, and then you're gonna choose, is this video made for kids? No, it's not made for kids. Now, if you're creating kids content, in my opinion, with everything that we just created, nothing actually applies to kids. If you were creating kids content, you can go ahead and choose yes, it's made for kids. You're gonna go ahead and choose a thumbnail. So I do recommend you create a thumbnail ahead of time. So again, I always have a few thumbnails just for the purpose of this video. I'm just gonna create, just use this random thumbnail, and everything else looks good. You can just, OBS is gonna give you the basic, but you can go back in YouTube and actually customize it. If you monetize, you can even monetize your stream, no problem. But OBS is just gonna give you this, just the basic, apply like things like description, add your thumbnail, and everything else, your latency, you can leave it to normal. Once you're done, you can go ahead and hit create broadcast and start live streaming. Okay, or you can simply hit create broadcast. Okay, so basically OBS, what's going to do is going to create an event in YouTube. Now what you can do is you can go to, in the back end of your YouTube channel, make sure you sign it. You go to youtube.com and make sure you actually signed in using your YouTube channel's kind of credential email address from Gmail, and then you go to this plus sign, go to go live. Okay, once you go to go live, it's gonna take you under manage, and as you can see here, you have your stream that we just scheduled in OBS. You can click to it, and then what you can do is you can go to edit, and then if you want to add some customization, something like monetization, you can turn on monetization. If you monetize customization, here under customization, you can see some other details you can actually play with. You can also go under details here. You have more options. Okay, you want to add it to a playlist, you can do that. If there's no AI involved in your stream, you want to choose no. Yeah, the other stuff, just go through it, all the options. As you can see, you have more options in the back end of YouTube. Once you're done, you hit save, and as you can see, sometimes you have some warnings. You just gotta go read it, see what it's saying. Okay, or just hit dismiss. Okay, yeah, so yeah, some messages from YouTube and everything. So once you're done setting up everything back in YouTube, you want to make sure in OBS everything looks good, and you want to make sure you are on your intro scene. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and hit start streaming, and you want to make sure you can go ahead and play your first scene just like that. Boom. All right, now if I go back to YouTube, you can see that the stream is playing, no problem. So I can go ahead and actually play. This is our countdown timer. All right, so what I can do, I can hit this share button, get the link, and I can paste in Google. Boom. And as you can see, we have the stream right now, and it's live, no problem. So it's playing. Our countdown timer is good. It's in full HD. Boom. All right, it's playing, no problem on YouTube. Okay, and what I can do is I can go back to our starting soon. I can change to the main camera now, and as you can see, I can start talking, no problem. And boom, I have my background music playing, no problem, and everything looks good. You just want to make sure you look into the camera, and then next you have your top down kind of shot scene, which is, in my case, I would have to change to this angle. And then if you want to demo some products and everything, you can start showing that off, no problem. And you have your other scene where we have a guest, which should look like this, again, because I have different angles on that angle, but yeah, it would look like this on your kind of guest if you have a guest on your stream. And then next up, we have our screen share, so it will look like this if I'm sharing a screen. Boom, you want to make sure you are in the center, no problem. And then we have our chat screen. Again, my chat is gone, but the chat will be showing here, no problem. And obviously we have our media, and then we have be right back scene, and then we have our outro scene as well. Okay, so now if I go back to YouTube, you can see that whatever I'm playing in OBS is actually playing, no problem. You can see it by stream. If I go here, we have the be right back scene playing. Okay, and I think I actually went public by accident, so if anyone someone is watching public. I'm so sorry. All right. So once you're done, what you gotta do is you're gonna go ahead and hit stop streaming back in OBS. So this is your last scene, of course. Stop streaming, and it's gonna ask you if you wanna really end your stream. You're gonna hit yes, and back in YouTube is gonna end the stream, no problem. So what's gonna happen, another thing that I wanted to mention, guys, when you set up your stream, so as you can see in the back end of YouTube, the stream has ended. Now you have the option to go ahead and actually edit in studio or do anything that you want. If you want to trim some sections, or if you want it to just be a kind of any video on demand on YouTube, it's just gonna show up. People can actually watch a replay. So I know this has been a long video, but I'm hoping you were able to learn everything that you need to know about OBS and how to set up your show and look more professional. Again, I'm gonna leave all the resources where you can find background music. Of course, Epidemic Sound is my #1 recommendation, and of course I'm gonna link down below all the links that you need for all the plugins that we use down below, including all the overlays that are going to be available at streamtools.com. So everything should be down below. If you have questions, let me know. Be more than happy to answer your questions. However, since this only covers the software part, I have another video that I'm gonna be making, actually showing you step by step how to build your home studio. So you have something that looks like this. You have your kind of main camera, you have your top down shot, your second camera kind of, you know, ready for you, what kind of monitor you need to use, what kind of webcam, if you're using a webcam or DSLR camera, what kind of microphone, and how to set it up and make sure it sounds good. Everything hardware is gonna be in that video to be able to go live. So once that video is done, it's gonna be linked right here, so make sure you check it out, and I'll see you there, guys. Take care.